Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Rick with Hit and Run Candlesticks. Today's date is Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. I want to thank everybody for being here. I also want to remind you that the charts we look at today are for educational purposes only, and they are not recommendations for you to buy or sell. These are stocks I am putting on my watch list, and I may or may not trade them today, tomorrow, the next week, or even the week after. So let's get to business here. First thing I have is the SPY up, and we can see the SPY is a nice bullish trend. I still think overall we are bullish. Now, we have a pullback here, but the pullback is still holding in a bullish line. I'm basing that on my red-green line. There's the red line there. I'm sorry, the green line. There's red, green, red, green. So what that's looking for is stocks that where price action is above, the dots will be green. When price action is below, the dots will turn red. So just using that line as my baseline. So as I look at the SPY here, we are still bullish. Market closed up a little bit yesterday, not a lot. Looks like about 0.73%. We have a low the previous day. We have a higher low yesterday. We did close over the T-line. Now, with that said, I want to say that the VIX, and we'll go look at the VIX, my VXX chart in a minute. It's looking awfully active pre-market. Now, what it does when the market opens, that's a completely different thing. But right now, it's acting a little bit active. So we're going to take a look at that chart and how we might trade VXX in a moment. If the bulls can continue to hold us up and put us in gear, watch these tops to be tested about 326.90 or so, 85 to 90. And then a possible breakout to 33.20. That's what I would look at for now. If we lose traction, watch for about 316.65, and that'll certainly put a lot of pressure on the chart. Might even give the sellers a bit of a hand up, so we really want to be careful with that. A good rule of thumb is let's watch what price does with the T-line, and let's watch what price does with our trend indicator here. Watch those green dots. All right, I do want to jump to VXX real quick because I talked about it. VXX, and actually what I'm going to do is go to this chart right here. And I want to back up a little bit. Now, this is the 15-minute, and let's look back here, and I want to point out the trend indicator. And you can see right there where we started to turn green, and the yellow line is the T-line, by the way. That's the 8 exponential moving average. You see how we've gone from red to green? Well, this is tradable now, bullish. You're trading it up, or maybe buying calls if you're looking at options, and that is what I do. So as we start to turn green here, as the T-line starts to change and flip up over the 17, then I'm looking for price action to get in the candlestick signals for the best entry to be in the trade. And you can trade it how you trade it. You know, you've got your trading rules. Well, right in here, this is where I would say, okay, let's be a little cautious. Maybe we shouldn't be trading this long. And sure enough, you can see what happens here. The trend indicator turns to the downside. Price to T-line comes below the trend indicator. That's because price brought it down there. Price is down here now, okay? And you see here, there's no bullish trade. No bullish trade. No bullish trade at all. So what we're going to do, let's see, can I copy that? Sure I can. Duplicate it. What we're going to do is we're going to be watching, and we're going to wait until we get our indication here to be long. And that indication will be when price turns up over the trend indicator And it might look like something like this. So price turns up. That's not necessarily where we're going to start buying. We're going to wait for a little bit of consolidation, and then we'll start buying in there. So it would be, it's kind of hard to see it in here. It's just the line without price action. But right there where the T-line kind of bent a little bit, well, that means price brought it back down. So that would have been a good place to enter right in here. And actually maybe even right there would have been a good place to enter. So we're going to watch this. Be careful not to chase the bottom. Over my years, I have seen hundreds of traders hit bottom because they're trying to catch the bottom. They're trying to catch this move right here. And that is so hard to do. It really, really is hard to do. So you can see there's plenty time to make money here. Let's move this chart to an hourly chart. Just take a look at that. Well, see, there's an hourly chart. That would have been a nice trade right in here on the hourly. Let's look at the daily. There is no trade so far on the daily. There's just not. So we want, now I will jump in on the 15-minute. This is probably the only chart that I ever, well, this and the SPY. I will buy SPY calls and puts based on the 15-minute sometimes for a quick trade. But these two are it. So for the daily, we would be trading maybe off the 15-minute, but we would be watching that daily. If price did move up over the daily and the daily turned green, that might be an indication to hold, and then I would move to a daily chart. But for now, we have to stick with a smaller time frame because that's where our first possibilities are to pick up a trade, and we just don't have that yet. So we need to see these red dots turn green. Until then, I'm not going to do too much with it. Right now, see these two little arrows right there? That's about where the market is trading right now, and we're a far cry from turning that 15-minute chart into bullishness. Although I can see on another chart that I have that we are getting some activity this morning. For instance, here's the low, and here's the high of the current pre-market candle, and that's where we're trading at, about 29.48. So we're going to watch that for a trade, but not until the alerts start firing off for us. Okay, let's get back to this chart here. Let's go back to that SPY, and now let's take a look at a few trade ideas today. WWOO. We are past a few earnings, so we're able to, why was this on there? Actually, I meant to take this one off, but we'll talk about it. There are a few stocks that have passed earnings now. This is not one of them, but we'll look at this anyway. I meant to take it off because earnings is on the 4th. That's pretty quick. Either way, what I'm looking at is when I'm looking at a chart, there's just a few small handful of things I'm looking for. Price pattern is one of them, and this is one of the price patterns that I like right here. I like to look at the trend indicator, and I can see the trend indicator is red. Let's paint that red. I can see the trend indicator is red, and now I can see the trend indicator has turned green. Well, that tells me it's starting to trade in my direction. In this case, a long direction. If I was looking for a short direction, this would be where I would be looking, the indicator. It's green, and now we're in a short direction. So now what I'm going to look for is price action. I'm going to look for those chart patterns that pop and consolidate. Pop and consolidate. That's what I'm going to look for. And then I will look to be entering on the consolidation, just like that right there. And then what we're going to look for is a target area, profit-taking zones. And in WOO's case, WU, I'm looking at 2470 as the biggest chunk of the trade, although I would not be afraid to take a few profits off halfway if you need to. Now, you might think, say 5%, that's nothing. You're right, it's not, but it adds up, and that's something I think every trader needs to understand. It doesn't take a lot, a big percentage to make a very, very nice year-end profit. Easy reach your goal by doing this, little base hits. Also, that I will tell you that I trade options. I trade directional puts and calls. I've only been doing that a few years, but it has made a phenomenal difference in the end results of profits. So all this right here, woo, may not seem like a big trade, 8%, but it can be huge if it's traded correctly. So keep an eye out for HU. And again, I meant to pull that one off because the earnings is only is on the 4th. And this is setting up as a 3/8 trap. You can see it right there. The next one I have is XHB. So once again, a few things that I'm looking for is a trend. I think we clearly have that trend. I'm also looking for where we've got a bit of a down move. Here it started moving down. Our dots turned green. No point in buying it here. Then, because we're not a bottom picker. That's not what we're doing. This is trending down. Higher lows, lower lows. Lower highs, lower highs and lower lows. That's a downtrend. You don't want to be buying that. Now that it starts moving up, this is what I'm looking for. You can clearly see that trend is moving up here. Now I will look for chart patterns that are in the 3/8 trap or maybe a T-line bounce. I also use things like a 10 simple moving average bounce. I have this set up on live trading alerts to alert me when stocks have flipped over and they may be bouncing off the T-line, they may be bouncing off the 10 SMA, they may be in a 3/8 trap, and this is what the alert alerts me. This is how the alert will alert me when one of these things happen, and then I can go decide if I want to buy the chart. So right now, for XBH, I would be looking for probably not a bounce off the T-line. We're too far from it. But what we might possibly get, is my 3/8 trap if it opens up inside to yesterday's candle, and we also might get an alert on an inside day moving up as well. And let's see, right now it looks like we're opening up right now pre-market. Pre-market, I'll bet you is going to be an inside day on XBH. COF, COF. This is another one that came up on the alerts last night. Here's our downtrend. So that's one thing I'm looking for. Another thing is I'm looking for some bottom I could make a conversation about. In this case here, I could probably make a conversation of a shoulder, head, shoulder. That's bullish. If we look at the way the price action is going, you can see it's up. Our trend indicator has started to turn green. These are things I look for in a chart. And if you'll notice here, we've broken out, nice little bullish engulf, 3 bars to the right. We even have what we call a Fig Newton pattern. It's pop out of the box as well, a little shy of a couple candles, but we are looking at that pop out of the box. And now there's our buy box. So that would be, for me, that would be an excellent buy area, and I'll be looking at a couple profit zones, base hits here at 72.90 and 78.15. Another one is IBM. Notice October 21 is the earnings. So IBM, what I'm looking at in IBM is the fact that it's been constructing a bottom right in here. up and down, up and down, up and down, constructing a bottom. So it's a breakout of this bottom that I think it has potential. So we need to break out of this bottom. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not going to trade it here. This is looking pretty good. This is doing just what I might be looking for. So here's our downtrend. Here's our uptrend. And now we've got price, low to a high to a higher low, a sign of buyers coming in. So I will look for confirmation. I'll look for an entry in this area. We need to get past 129.40 before any money can be made. There's a little bit of money up here, maybe to 135 to this top. But the real money for IBM comes once we break out of 135.80. But I can see this being traded right through this area. OIH. Now I'm currently long OIH. Again, it's same old thing. Boring. Very boring here. I see a bottom being developed. We have a low, a high. We come down. We did make a lower low, and now it's starting to move up. You can see how that bottom starts to round a little bit. You can see here how the bullish engulf, we had follow through and pulled back. And on that pullback, we closed over that downtrend line. We changed the direction. Something here changed, and it changed into those green dots. So our trend indicator now is looking to the green side. So if you want to put a green line there, there you go. If you want to put that consolidation in there, there you go. Everything is looking pretty good. Again, I'm already long OIH. I'll look to add to it perhaps. We'll see what it does, how it acts. Over 137, we should see 150, mid to the upper range, 150 area. And then, of course, it's always possible that we run up a bit higher here. HAL, Halliburton, same sort of scenario. 116.40 as a target, first target, and then maybe let's look at 18.55 maybe for a second target. You can see here look how that's been. Let's just go way back here. See how we're red? I mean, you can draw it wherever you want. I'm gonna put it right here. And here, price action started to change, but it got a little sloppy. And then look how things changed right through there. And now look how things changed right through there. No point in trading here. Again, I know a lot of people that do this, bottom picking, trying to catch down in this area. And I know a lot of people that hit rock bottom because of it. When I have found during coaching, during my own personal trading, that when you leave the idea of trying to catch that bottom and you wait for that price action to pull up into a trend line, your probabilities of a winning trade just goes up. It's just incredible. So this is why we wait, and now we can start looking, and we start looking at those rises and consolidations, those rises and pullbacks, rises and PBOs. We call that a pullback opportunity is what that is. Now we can trade and manage our chart up into some cash. 1640, pretty simple. The high over here in, what was it, June? Yeah. And then maybe our next target up here at 1855. DFS, I believe I'm long this one as well. I don't have my trade hawk up, or I'd check, but I believe I'm long this one as well. Here we go, the same old thing. Little rounded bottom here. Downtrend. Looks like to me the trend is starting to change, and now here where we nice little pop, good little pop candle, and now three little consolidating candles right in here. This makes for a good entry, as well as, whoops, probably should change the color of that, as well as a little bit of a breakout here would make a good entry. Just want to stop kind of in between here. I keep watching on another screen that VXX and my SPY at the same time, pre-market, and that VXX is getting a little frisky here. So we're going to have to be careful at the open and maybe throughout the day. So we'll watch that. We're going to look at that chart one more time before we close out. SLB, earnings not till October. There's our trend line here. Here's our trend line moving up, and I'm just using our moving trend line. I was asked the other day what this line is. It's simply the 17 exponential moving average. That's all. We just figured out how to turn it into dots. I do have a video on how to do that in YouTube. If you have TC2000, you can always check that out. Also, there is no reason that you have to use the 17 exponential moving average. You can use any moving average you want. Any moving average you want. So here's our little consolidation, our PBO. This is our pullback opportunity right here. We are starting to trend to the upside. We have a bullish attitude versus a bearish attitude. This is a bearish attitude. This is a bullish attitude, and the price action right now is still showing bullishness. I'm looking at 2055, 2170, 2380 up here as possible targets. HPE. Here's our bearish attitude right here. Bearish attitude. And here is our bullish attitude. And you can see that for the most part, whoops, let me change tools here. There we go. For the most part, change that green. Look how sideways that has gone. That's opportunity in there, and also on the breakout. Whoops, wrong one. Let's do this. Also on the breakout. We're looking for 1050, 11 and a quarter for possible profit targets here. The last one I have, and we are going to go back and look at that VXX one more time. XLV. Let's see here. Bearish attitude. This is bearish attitude based on the 17 EMA. Remember, you can change that. And then it has now changed because price action has lifted up. We've started making higher lows and higher highs. The attitude is now bullish. We have a PBO, or a pullback opportunity, going on right now. What we need to see is confirming buyers in here, and then we'll be looking at 109.60, 113.30ish. All right. Now let's take a look at that VXX one more time. And I'm going to run back over here. Let's put candles on this one here. No, let's not. That's too busy. There we go. Let's just leave it like that right there. So we will put a line up. So right there. That's where we're trading right now. We're on the 15-minute chart. That's where we're trading on VXX. This is pre-market. It's 7:30 my time. That would be 8:30 East Coast time. And you can see here that we have not changed. We're not up here where we can make that change. If we continue to draw the lines like we've been drawing it, you can see that, let's just start here, and we're going to grab the tops of these and just move down. That would be a bearish attitude. And for this to be bullish, we would need to see the green dots, and then that would turn into a bullish attitude, just like right here. See, here's a bearish attitude, and this is a bullish attitude right there. So let's be patient. It is getting a little jumpy, but It doesn't mean that we're going to actually turn bullish today. Now, somebody did ask me about changing these dots, different moving average. It's really simple to do. All I've got to do is go change the 17, this one right here, 17 EMA. The dots you see are actually coming from, it's called, I better go look, be sure, volatility stop on TC2000, volatility stop, settings 10 and 0.10. And then your data source is a 17, or whatever moving average you want to use. For instance, I can come over here and I can change this. Let's change it to the 25 simple. Look how that changed right there. See how that changed? This right here would give you an indication you've got a bearish attitude going on. This right here would tell you you've got a bullish attitude going on. Alrighty, that's today's trade ideas. I want to thank everybody for listening to my video. Remember, we do love it when you give us a thumbs up, and we do love it when you leave comments and let us know something you might be looking for or wanting, and we'll see what we can do. All right? You guys all take care and have a great day trading.